My name is Andre Litvinov. I was born in Russia. When I was 3 years old, my parents, also born in Russia, moved to Moldova, where they still live. Starting in 1986, I studied for 5 years at the Moscow Academy of Ballet and Choreography. In the last 3 years of my studies, I completed at the National Ballet Academy in Chisinau, Moldova. My parents first sent me to ballet school when I was 10 years old. It was a standard age to begin professional ballet studies. So, since I was 10 and until now, I am still in the profession. I went to work for the National Theater, where I've worked for the last 25 years. Dance. During this time, I danced all possible existing repertoire, from Princes to Basil. Also in Romeo and Juliet, I danced 2 roles, Romeo and Paris. This is very interesting and intense choreography by our modern choreographer, Radu Poklitaro. I was given the title of Distinguished Artist of Moldova Republic, was awarded an International Ballet Competition Prize and diploma as a Best Partner, and also have awards from the Grigorovich Competition and the House of Diaghilev Award. For 3 years, I worked as Artistic Director of the National Theater of Moldova. I was also active as Ballet Master and Rehearsal Director. I started to dance from the very first day I started to work in the theater, not counting school, practice, of course. So I danced as a ballet dancer for 25 years.
How did you get into ballet?
Well, unfortunately, I didn't have any desire for it. I was just an ordinary boy. I wanted to be a good football player, or like every kid at the time, wanted to become a cosmonaut. It just happened that when there were auditions in various cities of Moldova, my parents brought me to one, and I was selected as a gifted child. Only 3 boys were chosen from 360 candidates in Moldova for studies in Moscow at the Ballet Academy.
Were your parents dancers?
My parents have nothing to do with ballet. They're just ordinary people. And it just happened that, because of them, I became immersed into an absolutely unknown sphere of art, which was not familiar to them at all.
Where did you meet your wife?
Well, we didn't really have to be introduced. My wife used to be my classmate, and right after graduation, we got married. We worked together in the same theater and have lived together for the past 25 years.
Tell me about the staging of Romeo and Juliet.
You know, I am a big admirer of Shakespeare. All his works are the works of genius, and Romeo and Juliet is one of those works. Creating choreography for such music and such a world-famous masterpiece brings a lot of responsibility. This ballet we will show in America and Canada. It is very difficult. The music is challenging. It's not really classical, I would say, but rather very sensual, emotional, or expressive. And because of that, the performance should be not less sensual and not less emotional.
What is the most challenging about this ballet?
The most difficult part is to express the characters through the dance. They are absolutely polar characters: Tybalt, Paris, Mercutio, Romeo, and Juliet. This is first. Second, not to slip too far away from the story itself and stage it in as much detail as possible so it will not confuse the audience, because the choreography will be classical but with new contemporary elements.
What is your favorite ballet?
Favorite ballet? Well, each ballet is my favorite. And why? Well, because during the last 25 years, I've danced a lot of ballets, and each one of them is beautiful in its own way.
But what is your favorite?
The most favorite? Well, probably the very first one I debuted and I began my creative career as a ballet soloist was the ballet Giselle. However, it does not mean that other ballets are less interesting and less beautiful or less dramatic.
What do you...
You know, it's not possible to love just one thing about ballet. First of all, I'm a fanatic of my profession and cannot say what I love about ballet in particular. I love to dance. I love to live in it. It is like living a life in each of them. It does not matter if it's 1 act or 2 or 3 or 4 acts. You live the life of your character fully, and because of that, when you see that you have done it well, and when you see that you deliver to the audience what you wanted to deliver, it is the best of what could have happened for you.
What is your favorite place in America?
You know, I actually travel around the world a lot, all over Europe, America, and it seems like a lot depends on the audience. The American audience is very open, very emotional. In any state where we tour, we have found very good reception. So I can't name a particular place. I can just say that there are more demanding stages, and there are less demanding stages. However, I can say for sure that it felt great to perform at any of them in America.